11:30, 48, boom. So, starting off this weekly analysis, we're already in Euro GDP from last week on Tuesday. As you can see, we are currently, how many days are we into this trade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days into this trade, and we're currently above this support area that was previous resistance, now acting as support. In between the weekly and daily area of interest, we're stuck in between tapping this daily. But what you need to take into consideration is, yeah, we're in between these two areas of interests, right? But you turn off to the weekly, and there is no area of interest there on the weekly. We're only below the weekly area of interest, and prices had 2 weeks of rejection now. So what I'm expecting for this week's price action to entail is a simple little push up to create that wick and another further rejection, and then for us to come down and complete this little evening star type formation where we can have that push down to take profit for a 1 to 2.85, 1 to 2.8, 1 to 2.85 risk to reward. Sorry, right, it's late. I mean, it is late, but it's early, if you know what I mean. So, for actual analysis for this week, okay. AUD NZD. AUD NZD is it's okay. We saw the weekly last week pushed above this area of interest on the weekly. Not a super strong push, printing sort of a doji type candle with big wicks to the upside and the downside. So heading into this week, we'll be looking for the daily to come back and retest this area to then create that further push to fill out the top of this wick on the weekly. But this is what intrigued me so much, that price could potentially do this. The daily just looks splendid. We had an evening star at the resistance, broken with a massive bullish engulfing, 2 candle pullback. Now all I'm waiting for over the next couple of days is for price to pull back into this area, give me a bullish engulfing, and then I'll look for my entry signal from there. So as it stands, all I'm waiting for is price to pull back into this area to then give me the bullish engulfing. A lot of the pairs this week are just waiting for that. These, you know what? They're not organized. Give me a second. Let me refresh this. I have already analyzed this shit and organized them accordingly. Right, okay, alright, back to business. Right now we're on business. Okay. Pairs, these are organized properly to the pairs that are the closest to being ready. So GDP NZD is very fucking similar to AUD NZD. You can see both of them are broken above. So I'll be keeping my eye on both of these closely, because GDP NZD is at the area of interest already, whereas AUD NZD is still on the way. But if you look left, we are kind of at a previous resistance structure point. So that could act as a minor structure point, a minor support point to push price up if GDP NZD happened to push up already. But this is the best looking trade, one of the best looking trades. Sorry. Apart from the big shooting star wick to the upside, that is a bit gay. And we don't like the batty boys. So that is a batty boy candle. I'm not a massive fan. It's beautiful if you're looking for a sell now, because you'd see it rejection, high selling pressure. It's Gucci, but we're looking for buys, okay, with this beautiful break and retest on the daily. So what we could expect is price to come up into this weekly wick. As you can see, the weekly wick. We can either come up and continue this strong bullish momentum that we've been seeing, or we could simply just weekly wick up and then come back below, or close as a doji. So, we've had the pullback, we're broken above on the daily. now we're at the daily area of interest. All I'm waiting for is simply the bullish engulfing rejection. That's the first thing I'll be waiting for. There's not much more to it. EuroCAD, beautiful. We saw that shift in structure, a cheeky little shift in structure, may I add, on the weekly last week with a big bullish candle to pull back. But what we could potentially do this week is create a doji formation here, as we did previously. You can see we pulled up. Look at that, we pulled up exactly the same doji, and then we carried on pushing up with the buyers. But if you look at structure, previous structure was bullish. Price had not broken the bullish structure when it printed this doji, so we continued with the buyers, which caused us to create a higher low here, for then price to come down again, boom, creating this the lower high, this the lower low, pull back to create a potential lower high. So what we'll be looking for is the daily to reject this area, giving us our entry signal, and then we'll be Gucci to go, because the daily is already, as you'll see in a second, the daily is already bearish. Okay, so all we need is the entry signal, and as you can see, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. It's not breaking structure, so all I'm simply waiting for is potentially 2-3 days is for this candle here to hold this wick, for this selling pressure to hold this wick, and then for a engulf close below down here like this. I don't know if you can hear this music, but it needs to be changed. No, that's more like it. Chill. Right, yeah, so get rid of this cunt. That's what we want to see, okay? We want to see this daily candle closes at this small-ish candle, evening star formation, break, and then look to enter on the wick pullback. Let me change this shit, right? Everything needs. I've been fiddling around for a while, so a lot of stuff is out of usual color. For then that wick pull. I don't even know what I just did. So then that wick pullback to retest psych level area of interest, and then we could this could be, if it did this, we could potentially have a very juicy risk to reward trade, trading back down to the bottom on the daily for a nice 1-3 potential. But again, I'm just waiting for that bearish engulf to occur before I do anything. Denman, we come over to AUD USD. This week, the weekly, this as one of the best looking weeklies. We broke above this area multiple times. Now we've broken above it again. We last week had a sort of a hammer rejection, but just a nice wick rejection indicating buying pressure here. And now we're coming down, we're looking to come into this buying pressure of that wick, and for that buying pressure to shift price on the lower time frames. So we come down to the daily and understand, alright, we're bullish. Why are we bullish? Well, because we broke structure, breaking the lower high here, and never had a pullback. This, not sufficient pullback. This, not sufficient. Yeah, it engulfed, but this isn't really structure, you know? I need something like this. This is structure. You can clearly see. Very nice, 2 candle pullback, boom. This is just a big, that could have been a new spike, you know, that's not clear structure. So high, came all the way back to create a higher low, and now we want this again, another, I'm looking at midweek we could potentially see a few setups if they do play out. As you can see, I've already marked it up, but a double bottom on the daily to be created, price to either reject this low on the daily or break below, so we have either a lower low, not an actual lower low, but like a structure, market structure lower low. I don't know what you'd call it. I call it minor structure. You have the major structure, which is the overall high, higher low, and then we have the minor structure, which turned bearish, and now we want the minor structure to either create as a higher low, or to create a lower low and then a higher high, and then it kind of shifts. The minor shift. Oh, I can't talk. The minor structure would give us a shift. Nothing to do with the strategy, just this is how I perceive and look at the market. And that would be another indication. Then we'd be waiting for that engulfing on that with the 4 hour big push. As you can see, the 4 hour is not giving us that push right now. So we need 4 hours to come back and try again to give us the push and the daily engulf, to then give us the wick and the 4 hour higher low, for us to take the trade long from here, stop loss below like that, take profit back at the daily highs. Very nice, juicy potential trade. Pardon me. Next is AUD NZD, as we've just been over this already. I'm not doing it again. USD CHF. We had, this is a weekly time frame, bearing in mind, consolidation at a major support, and now we've just broken out of the consolidation after shifting, boom. If you actually look at the last 3 weeks, right? What does this look like? The weekly looks exactly like the daily time frame. Not this one. Nope, not that one either. There is a time frame it looks something exactly like. Well, it looks like this, pretty much. AUD NZD. You see, we had that candle, that big push up, and nothing changes in the market. Doesn't matter what time frame you're on. It's the same shit. Just, it's the same shit every time frame. AUD NZD. Look at the big bullish engulf, right? Breaking the area of interest. Now we're just waiting for a pullback to retest this area, which looks pretty fucking similar to the weekly of USD CHF. Break. Now we're looking for that retest. Boom, that's what we need. So this USD CHF is an iffy one, because we've had this doji. If price would have just pulled back straight away, that would have been golden. But now what we could expect potentially is this weekly to either pull back and close down here, which would be no good for anyone, or we could see price come back down and see a sharp bullish push on the lower time frames, which I don't see it happening. I feel like that the weekly needs to pull back. The weekly needs to pull back because it's preparing for a big push up. Like, it's been in this consolidation for so long. We've now broken, and then I can expect us to pull back to this area this next week, and then this week pull back, and then next week see that big push up to this area. But it might happen this week. This is the thing with the markets, and you need to get into your psychology. You never know what is going to happen. So me saying, this could spend another week pulling back, then the next week is a big push, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just speculating right now and using my creativity jar to potentially see what's going to happen and build up a theory and idea of what I want to see. So all I'm waiting for on this is a pullback. Again, pullback, rejection, then we go from there. Euro USD is bullish on the weekly. They're bearish on the daily, bearish on the 4 hour. You can't. So we're waiting for a daily and 4 hour shift of structure at our weekly area of interest / potential higher low. So the weekly is looking quite nice, to be honest. It's retesting this previous structure point. It's also retesting the area of interest. It's also retesting it's also retesting psych. Yeah, because the cycle level's so close. Watch this. We put 5 there. Watch when I click OK on the top of the bar. Boom. It's so close that we'll put it in. So we can have, eventually it'll be retest on the lower time frames. We'll have a psych level rejection. But we want the weekly to just pull down a little further into this area, into this wicks into this wick pressure, and then tap the EMA, so we have that EMA rejection as well. You know, build up them confluences. Like, look at it. Break, pull back, tapped it, boom, tapped it, boom, tapped it, boom. You know, so that's kind of what we want, a tap, boom, on the weekly. But for this all to happen, firstly, right, I'm going to mark this off so you can see where it is over here, okay? This is where the weekly EMA is. So when you mark that up and then you go to the daily, what we need to see is a continuation of this selling pressure right now to come fill this wick, pussy, and then boom, come into this, tap that, look back and watch me tap that, then push all the way up. So this trade could either do that, which would take, you never know, quite a while. It could take a few days, and then next week potentially, or we could potentially do that, or we could potentially push all the way up. This isn't really a lower high, but I'd want it to close above this minor resistance point. It close above here and come back to retest, give us a potential higher low, which would shift the 4-hour structure, so we'd have 2 time frames in sync, and then we could potentially look for a trade here. But Euro USD is one that it's had such a big sell-off that I reckon it could take a little minute to just get ready to push back up. You know, nothing good comes fast. So NZD CAD, a lot of these pairs. This pair is actually above the area of interest on the weekly currently, and what we want for the weekly to do is create an engulf candle. And for that to happen, we need to see that daily give us the engulf candle. Ideally, this is what we want to see happen. The engulf candle close below, bomba clot. Then we want to see the wick pullback, bomba clot. Then we want to see the bomba clot. That's what we're looking for. Evening star, rejection, boom, EMA rejection, daily engulf candle, at the area of interest, weekly area of interest, daily area of interest, 4-hour low high, etc, etc. You know the shit. And if it did that, it would also, let me move this, we'd break in the structure to create that structure, sorry. We're getting a bit too ahead of ourselves here. Shift of structure on the 4-hour / daily impulse for that first day, and then the second day, this would be more like this, all right? And then that second day would be this. Trading's very simple once you have a strategy and you know what to look for. I mean, this didn't take me much time to look through and find out, okay, this is what I want to see. It takes long explaining it and spitting facts from my mind into the wild. But GDP CHF, bearish. I still do believe that this pullback is about to break. You can, if we were trading trend lines and all that, you could see we're like, well, we're in this little correction, you see, and we're simply, and ironically, I didn't even realize this until I just marked that, but look at how this lines up as a break and retest of it. Okay, didn't try to do that, but you've seen we've had a rejection, we've had a doji now under this area of interest. We rejected it to begin with, closed below the EMA, came back up doji, last week gave us an engulf candle. So what I'm waiting for now is this next weekly area of interest, which has been major daily support and resistance, to see a break. Ideally, I mean, look, when it's kind of boring, it is kind of boring, right, to go over, because it's just the same stuff every time, but it's simple and it's so effective and it makes money. So what we want to see is that bearish engulf. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Engulf, daily engulf, bro. Fucking wick pullback. I'm tired of saying this. And then the push down to where the next daily structure level down here. Simple bonanza. Look at that shit, cuz. Look at that shit. Obviously, sniper, more of a sniper stop loss, but same shit, bro. Same shit. Imagine if I wasn't recording. Oh, I'd be pissed. I'm too tired for that shit right now. And I gotta eat. Oh, brother. Let's finish this quick. Alright, last pair. Euro NZD. Euro NZD is bullish. But look at this big fuck. Bullet. Euro NZD is bullish. But look at this big fuck off shooting star. Not great. Because what you can expect now is for this to create this evening star. It's just simple economics. Simple trading economics, you know. But I'm still interested to see what happens on it because we are bullish on every time frame. But this was the point. I'm taking it off. Yeah. See, I was hesitating, and I was like, why am I hesitating? But yeah. So we're gonna take it off this pair. I put it on Saturday originally when I was looking through because I just looked through type up if it's bullish or bearish, and then start off by doing that to see, and then we'll go into more depth on Sunday. So after today, going into more depth and realizing if I was to take a buy, everything's bullish, but I'd be taking a buy engulf, ideally if the setup occurred, engulf candle, wick pull back into this area. But where am I buying up to? Okay, I'm buying from this very nice daily support, don't get me wrong. I'm buying up into a weekly resistance, right? Which is not what you want to do. You want to be buying or selling from the weekly resistance, not up to it. So, no good, baby, no good. So, for this would go shamoo down there. And then we have our top pairs, which are these bad boys. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pairs look for potential trades, 1 pair in a trade, and many pairs nowhere near trading. So simple, but yeah, effective, bro. So we're ready to make money for the week. Now we just gotta wait for a setup to appear somewhere in here. It's magic, it truly is magic. But with that said, that's me done. 23 minutes at 11:53. Babushka.